This is what I wanted to show you. Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it is really cool. Where'd you get it from?
I'm OG Kettle Springs, baby. I got all kinds of stuff.
Does it work?
Try it.
Look out!
They're really big on tradition around here.
Every year, there's this parade where everyone gathers around a Friendo float.
Friendo?
It's the clown on all the Bay Pen corn syrup labels. He's practically a local legend.
Smile, silly girl. You're about to become a sensation.
Be careful who you hang out with. There's some real weirdos at this town.
Yeah, 6. Very funny, man.
Hey, Ginger! You okay?
There's a psycho dressed up like Friendo, trying to kill us!
Call 911!
Where's the button, Jen? What is this? What is
What kind of phone is this?
I've waited all year, and finally it's here. For 30 straight days, it's a month-long movie craze. That's right, I'm ready to post a podcast each day. I watched a movie, and now I've got stuff to say. 'Cause movie month is here, yes dear. In case I wasn't clear, 30 movies, films that I've never seen. Cast, podcast, from first day of month to last. In June, all June, this is my movie month too. Been doing this for 12 years. I'll pause for applause and cheers. Okay, well, maybe not. But please follow all month long. Cause movie month is here. Yes, dear. In case I wasn't clear, 30 movies, films that I've never seen. Cast, podcast, from first day of month to last. In June, all June. Listen and subscribe is what you should do. Apple, Spotify, and yes, on YouTube. Listen and subscribe, come on, don't be rude. Listen and subscribe all June.
Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Thursday, June 26th, which means for the 26th day in a row, I watched a movie I've never seen before. And for the 26th day in a row, I am here podcasting about that movie to you. Today, I watched the 2025 horror slasher kind of comedy movie Clown. in a Cornfield. I rented it. My first time ever renting something through Plex. And rental prices are weird because there was one thing that says, oh, you can get it through Shudder if you sign up for $8.99, but then it looks like it doesn't show up to Shudder yet. It's coming in August. Then you could rent it on Fandango at home for $15. And I actually tried there because it was cheaper there. Because Google has it to rent for $20. Oh, I'm sorry. Google has it for $19.99 to rent. Amazon has it for $14.99 to rent. And then all of a sudden, Fandango at home had it for $9.99. I said, I've done that before because I had a Voodoo account. And I went to sign up for it. And I went to log in, and it wouldn't let me log in. I think I closed my Voodoo account before it became Fandango, so maybe that's why. So I was like, well, where else is it for the cheapest I could get it? And it turns out I could have got it through Amazon, but the cheapest, I wanted to try Plex. I saw rented through Plex. I'd never done that before. So I did it, and I watched it. And I actually, when I think about this, I spent $5 to see Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I spent $5 to see Ballerina. $10 to go see two movies in the theaters. I spent $10 to rent Clown in a Cornfield at home. And you're going to say to yourself, Michael, why did you watch this slasher movie? Like this, kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it like silly slasher horror movie. That's actually what it is. But here's the thing. Like many films, this one was actually based on literature. There was a book called Clown in a Cornfield. There is a book called Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare, or Caesar. I do not know how to pronounce his last name, or Cesare. Adam, I got that right. And that book came out in 2020. And I remember hearing about the book or like seeing it, I'd always see the title someplace because I was starting to get into reading some horror books. And I saw it on Libby, the Libby app, for free. So I, borrowed it from my Kindle and I read it, I think maybe back in 2023. And I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was a slasher movie based pretty much in like reality, meaning it could happen. I thought it was going to be a supernatural thing. I thought it was a monster. I didn't know what it was, but I read it. I liked it. And I immediately bought part 2, Clown in a Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives. Oh, did I just spoil the ending? Maybe, maybe not. And then years later, they came out with Clown in a Cornfield 3, The Church of Friendo, and I read them all. I'm going to spoil things, so if you want to see the movie or you wanted to read the book, too bad. I'm going to spoil things if you keep listening to me. The movie stars Katie Douglas, who I have no idea who she is. I looked her up, and she is on the show Ginny and Georgia, and she came off as older than 17. She had like this kind of deep voice, this delivery that I thought was quite good. Like it made her feel like different than this, like the young victim trope that you might get in some of these slasher movies. And there were other girls there that kind of filled that trope. But she was, when I read the books, I thought of her as this tough girl who fought back, and this girl portrayed that quite well. And spoiler alert right now, if you don't want to know, Quinn is the star of the trilogy of books, and the third one takes a very different approach with her. I feel like I was trying to remember, wait a minute, what happened in this one? What happened in the next one? Because I read them a couple of years ago, so I'm reading them thinking, oh, something's a little different. Like they change things for a movie. You're reading a book that's a few hundred pages. You're getting all kinds of details with all kinds of characters. For the dad in that, it's very strangely that I pictured an actor from an Irish TV show called Moon Boy that I watched on Hulu years ago. No idea why he got stuck in my head, but that was the face that I pictured. not the guy who played her dad in this movie, who I thought he was fine. He perfectly played the role, nice as a nice guy doctor coming to town. What the story is about is this girl, Quinn Maybrook, and her dad show up in this small town, and she's new to the neighborhood. He's there to take over a small town doctor's office. Turns out that the mother in the family dies, and he couldn't cope being where he was anymore. So he had to he took this job, and he moved on to the town of Kettle Springs, where it's a small town, not much is going on. Quinn befriends a group of kids, and their kind of craziness ensues. So these kids are all they're into YouTube and being stars on YouTube, and they like to make these scary movies on YouTube. And I was like, that is something that was in the original book. They talk about, my sister, one of the characters' sisters died, and I was like, oh yeah, that was in the book. They actually, that was the beginning of it. Where in this one that we went back to the 90s, I was like, I don't remember that. And again, I am like a unreliable narrator when it comes to reading a book a couple of years ago going, wait, what? Like, I didn't remember the two characters in this who get killed were actually in on the plot in the original book. But here's the gist of it. It seems like a very normal teenage slasher movie where a killer dresses up as a clown. But it turns out it's all the adults, or a majority, or at least a group of adults in this town who kind of do this culling every so many generations. At one point, like, hippies came to town. At one point, hobos came to town on trains, and they clean up the town. They clean these people out. And now it's these disgusting teenagers. So much so that these people are so deranged. They're killing kids of their own town, kids of their own family. There's this Kevin Durant back from last time I saw him was War for the Planet of the Apes, or War of the Planet of the Four of the Apes of the something. And this time he plays kind of the town oligarch. Is that what they said? He owns the company that made this corn syrup that the town kind of lived off of. There was a fire. All the kids were blamed because they were making videos there. Turns out at the end we find out that the dad actually was the cause of the fire for the insurance money. But the town has a little dark point because some people died in the fire. Some people died, I think they said someone killed themselves because they lost their job. It's just kind of, that was a dark cloud over the town. But they have this big giant Founders Day that they all get together, and like, because the big company in the town, the factory, was this Friendo corn syrup that the great-great-grandfather started 100 million years ago. The clown Friendo is like the town mascot. He's everywhere. And all of a sudden, Friendo starts showing up and killing these teenagers in very violent ways, very much like silly slasher ways. And there's a big party. And I was like, wait, isn't the party the ending of the movie? We're already there, but it's at the end of the book. It isn't. It's just all of a sudden these clowns all show up and just a massacre. A bunch of kids are killed. I don't remember that happening. I feel like a bunch of the kids hid this time. Some kids were killed. I remember one guy's like, hey man, it's Friendo. And then he gets an arrow right in his head. There was definitely comedic violence in this. So it was, what's funny is the book was written, I think, as an homage to the 80s slasher movies, to those, classic slasher horror films. And then it gets a movie made about it, made from the book, which is also an homage to those classic horror movies. But it's like, well, no, the movie isn't, like, the story of the movie isn't an homage to the horror, to the classic horror. The story of the movie is an adaptation of the book that is in turn the honor, I can't even think of the word. Words aren't coming. it was made as a celebration of those movies. There, I lost the word completely. So I was thinking to myself, oh, it's kind of meta for the fact that people might say, oh, this looks like an old slasher. Well, because it's based on a book that's based on the old slasher. I think I'm making sense. I don't know if I am exactly. But for like, if you just watch this movie on face value, like, oh, it's a slasher movie, and some of the kids are dumb, some of the kids are smart. But to me, it was like they had to pick someone who was perfectly fit to be this badass who, goes on to become a badass, even more so if, let's say, this, became very successful and they made sequels. I don't know if there is going to be a sequel made. I'm going to type in, see if I go to the Wikipedia page, there is no sequel. But here's the thing. If Wikipedia is to be believed, is a budget of $1 million. A very small cast, mostly unknown. And it, the biggest name in this is probably the star because of, her stardom with that Ginny and Georgia show, even though I don't think she's not Ginny or Georgia. So, but actually the biggest name is probably Will Sasso, who plays the sheriff. Very different than the sheriff in my head. And Kevin Durand as the Arthur Hill, the guy who runs the town, basically. So those are the bigger names, but they're not, they're recognizable faces. Maybe not recognizable names to some people, but recognizable faces, even if they don't know the names. So it didn't have to have a huge budget, I guess is what I'm saying. The director of the film is Eli Craig, who I have never seen a thing he's done before, but he directed Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which I've known about but never seen. He directed Little Evil, which I wanted to see, and I've yet. That came out. Oh my God, that came out 8 years ago. Little Evil, written and directed by him, with Adam Scott, where like they get the stepson who is like the devil, right? It looked funny, and I can't believe I never watched it. Maybe I will now, because this guy and Tucker and Dale vs. Evil always seem like a fun movie. Like, and I recognize some of the faces in it. It just never, I never got to see it. He also directed the television pilot episode for Zombieland, the series that never came to fruition. Is this the one that was made for Amazon? I feel like there was two. In 2013, Amazon ordered a pilot and it never went to fruition. Yeah, that's the one. So he's done stuff that I've heard of, but again, I've never seen anything he's done, including playing Chuck Potter in the movie The Rage, Carrie 2. But this was very competently created, very competently made. Oh my God, this guy's mother is Sally Field? That's crazy. Interesting. I did not know that at all. Anyway, Eli Craig's mother is Sally Field. What do you think of that? So he grew up in the business. No wonder he was in a couple things when he was younger. It was perfectly made, competent, like a competent adaptation of the book. I was like, what did they take out of it? And there's certain things that I'm like, wasn't there a movie, like someone who worked at a movie theater? But then I didn't remember if that was in the sequel book or anything like that. I did not remember. I do remember that at the end, the dad survives. He has to work on some of the clowns, and he ends up escaping them because they're not all that bright. And he, at the end, runs for mayor. The second one, I'll just tell you, another like family moves in and they make this like horror theme park, and they kind of try to ape and make money off of the friendo thing. There's conspiracies where people are like, it never even happened. That's like the whole town's being gaslit, or these teenagers are. And then the third one is like and I remember the second one's almost, if I remember correctly, it's kind of like there's some purge moments where things are happening all over town. And then the third one, there is a cult. Really, there's a cult, and it's. I mean, they are fun books, fun horror books. I think I read that in 2024. I believe I read the third book last year. You'd think I remember these things. Overall, a very adequate adaptation of a story, of a book that I liked, that I'm a fan of. And I like this author, and I want to read other things he's done. And I enjoyed this director, so maybe I'll watch other things he's done. And I liked I just thought they casted it, which isn't the right word. It's just cast. They cast this movie perfectly well. And I think they nailed it with the actress who played Quinn. So much so that I was like, who does she remind me of? I thought she's the daughter of some famous person. She reminded me of someone. She's not, and I couldn't figure it out anyway. I couldn't figure it out because she's not. That makes more sense. But yeah, I thought she was quite good in this role, and I thought the movie was, enjoyable enough, and I'm glad I watched it. Let's put it this way. I've watched various horror movies this month, and to various degrees of quality. And there are some, that, sure, there's a roller coaster in it, but it's really not that, besides that, not that great of a movie. I think we know what I'm talking about if you've been paying attention all month. And then there's been some that I'm just blown away by, which I will be revisiting that actress fairly soon. I don't know about the character. And then there's this, which is like right in the middle of, I really enjoyed this. It was exactly what I wanted it to be, exactly what the book was. It's like popcorn horror, very light, violent, gory, and fun. And that's what I was looking for with tonight's movie. We're at the $10, why not? And that's it. I think I am done. It's 10:30 right now, so I need to, and I don't have the image done, so I need to get crack-a-lack-a-lackin' on this right away, get this out to you. I can probably spend the next hour doing that, and then, maybe go to bed for a little while. Tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm going to watch my movie early or not, but it is day 27. It is not a horror movie. This is not it's not a sequel. So I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. It's been on my list. I almost forgot about it. And, the guy Chris, when I talk about him enough, he reminded me. I said, oh, yes. I must watch this movie. And I gave it day 27. But that's tomorrow, my friends. Now, until then, you can find me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except, what the hell is it called? TikTok, which is Geek Mentality. Mike, you can find me on Facebook. The Facebook page is Fans.Experts. The YouTube channel is Fans.Experts. That's because the website is fansnotexperts.com. I have a long weekend because we took tomorrow off. So hopefully I can watch the movie kind of early. If not, I'll get there. I'll get it done. 26 days down, 4 days to go. That's it. I'm done. I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode. Fans Not Experts.